Okay, so I have no idea how this dumpster fire of a video is going to go. Um, I am recording this for people that I went with high school with, and junior high, elementary school, and I really wanted to talk about something that's really been bothering me lately. Um, this is something I've been dealing with for actually the last couple of decades. I've finally gotten over the nightmares. But before I continue, I will make an ask for anyone who is watching this video. If you have your speakers turned on, I would ask you to please plug in a headset or earbuds or whatever. I don't know if any profanity is going to pop out of my mouth, but if it does, I don't want any of your kids to hear it. So I will try to keep it clean, but again, I don't know what's going to pop out. So that being said, for the moment, I'm not going to name the school that I went to because I have to go through all my financial accounts and clean stuff up and make sure that the high school you went to is not one of my 3 security questions. Okay, so once I get that kind of cleaned up, then I might go back and update the description and name it. So that being said, so those of you who did go to school with me probably don't recognize me. It's possible you might recognize my voice. I have deepened it a little bit, but I still have a very youthful sounding voice. Obviously, I got the gray hair, I got the beard, so I look completely different. And I got this stupid thing that popped up in my face last year, and I got to go see a doctor and see if I can get that taken care of because it's annoying. So anyway, my name is Dave Shea, and I'm here to talk about bullying. And so what happened is that from about kindergarten through 4th grade, I lived out in the Midwest. And then during the summer between 4th and 5th grade, my family moved out to what I'll call the left coast. And things changed radically in my life. The bullying started almost immediately. And I'm probably only name and shame 2 people. I don't even know if I want to name them or not. But 5th grade, there was a girl who teased me relentlessly, and I hated coming to school. I mean, I hated it. It was something I dreaded every single day. Davy Wavy, and all of her bully friends were encouraging her. Oh, give me a kiss, Davy Wavy. No, it was just teasing. Brutal. And then somebody else picked up the act in 6th grade so I was bused to a school in 5th grade. And then in 6th grade, I went to the school that was local, and they followed me. They continued the act. It was awful. Then junior high. So back then it was still junior high. It wasn't called middle school back then. So it was 7th grade through 9th grade. And every single year I was bullied. And then high school, every single year I was bullied. I mean, shoved into lockers, beat up on the bus, beat up on the bus stop. It was just brutal. I hated going to school. I mean, it was like I didn't learn STEM, right? Science, technology. What does the E stand for? Engineering and math. No, I learned a more important lesson, which I carry forward to today, which is I don't put up with bullies anymore. So in my professional career, some folks attempted to bully me, and I pushed back, and I pushed back hard, and they stop. So when I push back and I say, I'm not putting up with your stuff. I was about to say a very bad word. They got the message, right? It's like when you push back to a bully, they understand that they're not going to get away with it ever again. And so I had a sales bully in my company, a previous company that I worked for. I don't work for them anymore. And he like shouted my name on a meeting, and Dave Shea did this, Dave Shea did that, and I shouted back. I'm like, I'm not putting up with this. And then after that, he was really nice to me. And then I had a interaction with a sales bully. Well, actually not a sales bully. He was like a senior vice president of Oracle Corporation. I won't say his name, just to avoid, liability or whatever. But, we were having a meeting with a customer, and he was pushing back and denying all responsibility for the bug in his software that he oversaw as senior vice president. And I kept trying to speak. I'm like, have you looked at this particular issue? Your software is acting as if it's single threaded. He's like, oh, we haven't been multi-threaded. We've been multi-threaded for years. We're not single threaded. You're full of crap. And he kept cutting me off. And I finally had enough. And I just started shouting at the guy, sir, let me talk. And their salesperson on the call was like, excuse me, who is speaking? Because they were wanting to call me out. And what the funny thing is I was actually, this is before what we'll call the pandemic, for lack of a better term. So this is before the pandemic. I was on site face to face with my customer. He was sitting on the other side of the table from me. And so he's hearing me try to speak. He hears the Oracle guy constantly interrupting me, not letting me speak at all. And I just lose it, and that's only the second time in my career that I've actually lost it, or I lost my temper. And the guy is looking at my face. He sees, there's anger in my face, and he hears it in my voice, and he knows that I've just lost it. And so he cuts in and he interrupts, because the salesperson is like, oh, who's talking? And he's like, oh, that's Dave. He's our consultant. I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much, because I was about to go off on the guy. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. I've been using this freaking software for 25 years, and you're telling me that it's multi-threaded and it's not single-threaded? BS. You are lying to me. And it turns out he was wrong. So we ended up having to change the port range for the software, and that fixed the problem. So it became multi-threaded again. But he was insisting that we changed something, and therefore it was our fault, not the fault of his software. Now, yeah, okay. There was a business unit that was involved, and they started using the software in a way that we did not expect. So in a way, it was partially our fault, but his software was flawed, and it allowed that situation to happen. I'm gonna have to have a sip of rum here. So anyway, never had an interaction for that guy again. So he never apologized. A support engineer followed up it took about 2 weeks for him to get back to us, the support engineer, and said, oh, by the way, why don't you try this? And sure enough, his suggestion worked. I mean, credit to the guy, total credit to the guy. He fixed our problem. Senior VP never reached out, didn't apologize, didn't acknowledge anything. In fact, he didn't even want to be on the call. He was forced to by the sales guy. So it was one of these things where the customer was very, very angry and demanded to speak with the product owner. And so he just kind of begrudgingly joined the call. And, you know, he did everything he could to defray responsibility and push it back on us. So, but yeah, so when I was in school, high school, middle school in particular, it was awful. I mean, I dreaded getting on the bus, because as soon as I stepped foot on the school bus, I mean, the bullying started right then and there. And then I would show up at school. The bullying continued in band. You know, people would throw stuff at me. They would try to take my mouthpiece for my horn. One guy even damaged my horn, and I had to take it in. You know, we had to take it into the repair shop to get the valve. He broke one of the valves, and on my trumpet, back when I used to play trumpet. And you know, it was one of these things where my dad had to call his dad and say, okay, you're going to be paying for this, right? And he's like, oh yeah, we're going to pay for it. The guy never apologized to me. You know, he was just a bully. He was a bigger guy than me at the time. You know, and the funny thing is, when we had our 20-year anniversary reunion, 20-year reunion, it was either 15 or 20. And the reunion committee reached out to me and said, hey, we're having our reunion. Here's the date and time and location and all that. And I basically responded saying, okay, I now live half a country away from you. I am not paying airfare and hotel to go out there and interact with bullies. In fact, I never want you to contact me ever again. And they honored that. And that's where I stand. I have absolutely zero interest in interacting with these people. There's like maybe, I want to say 4 or 6 people that I would like to interact with again, people that I would consider close friends back then, that I would like to talk to again. I can't, because you know, before the 2020 election, I had enough of the social media, and I suspended my Facebook, and I uninstalled it from all my devices. And I didn't realize that I had 2-factor enabled. So when I wanted to come back after the election and say goodbye to everybody and say, hey, here's how you can contact me. I'm leaving Facebook. Fuck Zuckerberg, Fuckerberg, you know, and I couldn't get back on, because it was basically said, okay, you have to 2-factor. Like, yeah, but I don't have any devices that have the software installed anymore. I put the software back on, and the device isn't recognized as a 2-factor device. So I contacted support, and they're like, oh yeah, we need a scan of your driver's license. I'm like, really? Like, you don't have enough of my information? You need my driver's license number? Really? Do you really need that? And I even redacted it, and they're like, no, that's not good enough. We need to see the whole thing. I'm like, F you, I'm done. You know, it's like, come on. You don't need all that information. You already have too much of my information, right? So yeah, I'm kind of ranting right now. So Yeah, so I I would feel so out of place going to my high school reunion when they have the next one. Um, they wouldn't recognize me. If they figure out my name, um, they would probably try to humiliate me or tease me or whatever. And I'm like, my response would be, you know what? I'm at the top of my game right now in my career. I'm in the top 5% in my particular industry. It's very niche, very specialized, and none of you can even comprehend what it is that I do. Um, it is that specialized. So F you. So that's my rant for the night. Um, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think that that I'll ever be interacting with these people again. Again, it's they're out on the left coast. I'm in Iowa. Do I really want to spend $1,000 on round trip airfare or whatever it happens to be to get to there and back, and a hotel, um, and food and so on. But it would be probably a $2,000 trip if I were to go. And why would I want to do that? Because of why would I want to be around people that are mean spirited? Really, I mean, frankly, um, I can be mean spirited. People who play my online game that I run know that um, I'm an evil person. So they know. But when I'm face to face with people, I try to be nice. I try to um, put on a friendly face, or at least a poker face. If I am not in agreement with a person, I put on a poker face and I'm neutral. And um, the other person is entitled to their opinion, and I'm okay with that. Whether it be politics or religion or masks or what have you, pandemic. Um, but with respect to somebody who chooses to want to abuse me, I'm not having any part of it. Nobody should be able to put up with that. So anyway, I'm going to end my rant. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed my perspective. But that's my situation. That's my position. That I don't think people should put up with um, that type of personal abuse. I mean, it's when I was at school, um, the the bullying was right out there, and the union teachers, they didn't do anything to stop it. They didn't do any kind of intervention, even though some of them knew what was going on. Even back all the way back to fifth grade, one teacher attempted to put a stop to it. This particular teacher in fifth grade gave a speech because I and one other person was being mercilessly teased, given mean nicknames and so on and so forth. And so she attempted to put a stop to it. But the class just said, F you, we're going to keep doing what we want to do. And, um, and then that was pretty much it. I mean, subsequent grades, nothing was done. It's just, I hate bullies. And so anyway, I'm going to stop it here. Take care, be well, and have a good 2022.